Canto VIII. Circle 5. Styx. The wrathful. Phlegeas. Circle 6. Dis. The fallen angels. The poets stand at the edge of the swamp, and a mysterious signal flares from the great tower. It answers from the darkness of the other side, and almost immediately the poets see Phlegeas, the boatman of Styx, facing towards them across the water, just as a flying arrow. He comes avidly, thinking to find a new soul for torment, and he howls with rage when he discovers the poets. Once again, Virgil conquers wrath with word, and Phlegeas reluctantly gives them passage. As they are crossing, a muddy soul rises before them. It is Filippo Argenti, one of the wrathful. Dante recognizes him despite the filth with which he is covered, and he berates him soundly, even wishing to see him tormented further. Virgil approves Dante's disdain, and as if in answer to Dante's wrath, Argenti is suddenly set upon by all the other sinners present, who fall upon him and rip him to pieces. The boat, meanwhile, has sped on, and before Argenti's screams have died away, Dante sees the flaming red towers of Dis, the capital of hell. The great walls of the iron city block the way to the lower hell. Properly speaking, all the rest of hell lies within the city walls, which separates the upper and the lower hell. Phlegeas deposits them at the great iron gate, which they find to be guarded by the rebellious angels. These creatures of ultimate evil, rebels against God himself, refuse to let the poets pass. Even Virgil is powerless against them, for human reason by itself cannot cope with the existence of evil. Only divine aid can bring hope. Virgil accordingly sends up a prayer for assistance, and waits anxiously for a heavenly messenger to appear. Text. Returning to my theme, I say we came to the foot of a great tower, but long before we reached it, through the marsh, two horns of flame flared from the summit, one from each side, and then, far off, so far we scarce could see it, across the mist, another flame replied. I turned to the sea of all intelligence, saying, what is this signal and counter-signal? Who is it that speaks with fire across the distance? And he then, look across the filthy slough. You may already see the one that summons, if the swamp vapors do not hide him from you. No twanging bowstring ever shot an arrow that bored the air it rode dead to the mark, more swiftly than flying skiff, whose prow shot towards us over the polluted channel, with a signal steersman at the helm, who called, so do I have you at last, you whelp of hell. Phlegeas, Phlegeas, said my lord and my guide, this time you waste your breath. You have us only for this time it takes to cross to the other side. Phlegeas, the madman, blew his rage among those muddy marshes like a cheat deceived, or like a fool at some imagined wrong. My guide, whom all the friend's noise could not nettle, boarded the skiff, motioned me to follow, and not till I stepped aboard did it seem to settle into the water. At once we were left to shore, that ancient hull riding more heavily than it had ridden in all the time before. And we ran on the dead swamp. The slime rose before me, and from its voice cried, who are you that come here before your time? And I replied, if I come I do not remain, but you, Who are you, so fallen and so foul? And he said, I am one who weeps. And I then, may you weep and wail all to eternity, for I know you, hell dog, filthy as you are. Then he stretched both hands to the boat, but warily the master shoved his back, crying, Down, down with the other dogs. Then he embraced me, saying, Indignant spirit, I kiss you as you frown. Blessed be she who bore you. In world and in time, this one was haughtier yet. Not one unbending graces his memory. Here his shadow in slime. How many living now, chancellors of wrath, shall come to lie here yet in this pigmire, leaving a curse to their aftermath? And I, master, it would suit my whim to see the wretch scrubbed down to the swill before we leave this stinking sink. And him, and he to me, before the other side shows the mist, you shall have all you ask. This is a wish that should be gratified. And shortly after I saw the loathsome spirit, so mangled by a swarm of muddy wraths, that to this day I praise and thank God for it. After Filippo Argenti all cried together, this mad dog Florentine wheeled at their cry and bit himself for rage. I saw them gather. And there we left him, and I say no more. But such a wailing beat upon my ears, I strained my eyes ahead to the far shore. My son, the master said, the city called Dis lies just ahead, the heavy citizens, that swarming crowds of hell metropolis. And I then, master, I already see the glow of its red mesquites, as if they came hot from the forge to smolder in this valley. And my all-knowing guide, they are eternal flues to eternal fire that raged in them that made them glow across this lower hell. And he spoke. We entered the vast moat of the sepulchre. Its walls seemed made of iron and towered above us in our little boat. We circled through what seemed an endless distance before the boatsman ran his prow ashore, crying, Out! Out! Get out! This is the entrance! Above the gates more than 1,000 shades of spirit purged from heaven for its glory cried angrily, Who is this that invades death's kingdom in his life? My lord and guide advanced a step before me with a sign that he wished to speak to some of them aside. They quieted somewhat, and one called, Come, but come alone, and tell the other one who thought to walk so blithely through death's kingdom, he may come back along same fool's way he came by. Let him try his living luck. You who are dead, come only to stay. Reader, judge for yourself how each black word fell upon my ears to sink into my heart. I lost hope returning to the world. O my beloved master, my God in peril, who time and time again has seen me safely along the way and turned the power of evil, stand by me now, I cried, in my heart's fright, and if the dead forbid our journey to them, let us go back together towards the light. My guide, then, in the greatness of his spirit, take heart. Nothing can take our passage from us, when such power has given warrant for it. Wait here, and feed your soul while I am gone, on comfort and good hope. I will not leave you to wander in this underworld alone. So the sweet guide and father leaves me here, and I stay in doubt with yes or no, dividing all my heart to hope and fear. I could not hear my Lord's words, but the pack that gathered round him suddenly broke away, howling and jostling, and went pouring back, slamming and towering gate hard in his face. The great soul stood alone outside the wall. Then he came back. His pain showed in his pace. His eyes were fixed upon the ground. His brows had sagged from the assurance. He sighed aloud. Who has forbidden me the halls of sorrow? And me, he said, you need not be cast down by this vexation, for whatever plot these fiends may lay against us, we will go on. This insolence of theirs is nothing new. They showed at once in less secret gate that still stands open for all that they could do, the same gate where you read the dead inscription, and through it the moments of great one comes, already has passed it and moved down, ledge by dark ledge. He is one who needs no guide. In all his touch all gates must spring aside.